ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवतीरुत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। गोविंदाय नमो नमः। गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Hare Krishna. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, entitled Maharaj Nimi Meets the Nine Yogendras. Chapter or text number 37. Bhayam dvitiya bhiniveshatasya दिशादपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः तन्मायया तो बुध आभजेत्तम् भक्त्यैकयेशं गुरुतेवतात्मा भयं द्वितीया विनिवेशतस्य दिशादपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः तन्मायया तो बुध आपजेत्तम् भक्त्यैकयेशं गुरुतेवतात्मा भयं द्वितीया विनिवेशतस्य दिशादपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः तन्मायया तो बुध आपजेत्तम् भक्त्यैकयेशं गुरुदेवतात्मा। Please recite. द्वितीया विनिवेशतत्वा दिशादपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः गुरुदेवतात्मा दिशादपेतस्य विपर्ययो स्मृतिः तन्माययातो बुध आपजेत्तम भक्त्यैकयेशं गुरुदेवतात्मा. Hare Krishna. Bhayam, fear. Dvitiya, in something seeming to be other than the Lord. Abhiniveshataha, because of absorption. Syat, it will arise. Ishat, from the Supreme Lord. Apetasya, from one who has turned away. Viparyayaha, misidentification. Asmrutihi, forgetfulness. Tat, of the Lord. Mayaya, by the illusory energy. Ataha, therefore, Buddha, an intelligent person. Abhajeta, should worship fully. Tam, him, bhaktya, with devotion. Ekaya, unalloyed. Isham, the Lord. Guru Devatatma, one who sees his own spiritual master as his Lord and the very soul. Translation. Fear arises when the living entity misidentifies himself as the material body because of absorption in the external illusory energy of the Lord. When the living entity thus turns away from the Supreme Lord, he also forgets his own constitutional position as the servant of the Lord. This bewildering, fearful condition is effected by the potency of illusion called Maya. Therefore, an intelligent person should engage unflinchingly in the unalloyed service, devotional service of the Lord, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, whom he should accept as his worshipable deity and as his very life and soul. Purport. My dear devotees, please be patient. The purport is a lecture in itself. So, a very beautiful, long, meditative, elaborate purport is there. According to Sridhar Swami, Srila Sridhar Swami, the objection may be raised that since fear is caused by ignorance, it can be dispelled by knowledge and there is no need to worship the Supreme Lord. The living entity falsely identifies with his material body, family, society and so on. And he simply has to give up this false identification. Then what will Maya be able to do? In reply to this argument, Srila Sridhar Swami has quoted the following verse of Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Daivi esha gunamayi mama maya duratyaya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. This divine energy of mine, consisting of three modes of material nature, is very difficult to overcome. But those who have surrendered unto me can easily cross beyond it. The living entity called Jiva Tattva is one of the potencies of the Supreme Lord. But the constitutional position of the living entity is Tatastha or marginal. Being minute, every living entity is eternally dependent upon the supreme living entity, Krishna. This is confirmed in the Vedic literature as follows. Nityo nityanam chetanas chetananam eko bahunam yo vidadhati kaman. Among all the eternally conscious beings, there is one supreme eternal living being who is supplying the needs of all the innumerable others. Katha Upanishad 2.1.12. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami has stated, Ekale Ishvara Krishna Arasa Babhritya. Krishna is the only independent controller and all the other living entities depend upon him. Chaitanya Charitamrut Adilila 5.1 142. Just as the finger is a part and parcel of the body, therefore must be always engaged in the body service to the body as parts and parcel of Krishna. Mamaivansho jiva loke jiva bhuta sanatanaha. We as parts and parcel of Krishna have the eternal duty, Sanatana Dharma, of engaging in the unalloyed service of the Lord. The potency of the Lord that enlightens us in the Lord's service is called Chit Shakti. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur comments that when the living entity develops a spirit of independence, he is forced to come to the material world, where he enters into various types of petty, undesirable behavior that create a fearful situation for him. The Bahiranga Shakti, the illusory potency of the Lord, covers all trace of the Chit Shakti and imposes one material body and imposes one material body after another upon the living entity for his gross sinful enjoyment. As further punishment, the living entity who has given up the loving relationship with Krishna, he loses all power to perceive the eternal blissful form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is his actual master and shelter. Instead, the living entity becomes attached to many temporary phantasmagorical forms, such as his personal body, the bodies of his family members, friends, his nation, his city, with its buildings and cars, and the innumerable types of ephemeral material society scenario. In such a state of gross ignorance, the idea of returning to one's original identity no longer even crosses the mind. By the laws of God, the three modes of material nature are consistently in conflict, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. This conflict is described as many places in Bhagavatam as guna vyatikaram. When the living entity is bewildered by the interactions of the modes of material nature, he comes to the conclusion of the relativity and assumes that God and worship of God are simply byproducts of relative. Again I'll read. He comes to a conclusion of relativity and assumes that God and the worship of God are simply byproducts of the relative contradictory interactions of nature's modes. Hari Bol. In the name of anthropological, sociological and psychological perspective, the living entity falls deeper and deeper into darkness of materialistic ignorance, dedicating himself to mundane piety, economic development, sense gratification or speculation, in which he regards the absolute as lacking variety and personality, which he assumes to be products of interactions of the nature's modes. The illusory potency of the Supreme Lord is duratyaya. It is impossible to escape without the direct mercy of Krishna. Mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam tarantite. The example may be given when the sun is covered by the clouds. No man-made apparatus can remove them from the sky, but the sun itself, which created the clouds, can immediately burn away the cloudy covering and reveal himself. Similarly, when we become covered by the illusory potency of the Lord, we identify with our temporary material body, and thus we are always in fear and anxiety. But when we surrender to the Lord Himself, He can immediately free us from this illusion. The material world is padam padam yat vipadam natesham. It is dangerous at every step. When the living entity understands that he is not the material body but an eternal servant of the Lord, his fear is vanquished. As stated by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Atra Bhaktai Samsara Bandhana Na Bhetavyam Sahi Bhaktau Pravartamanasya Shveta Evapayati. In this Bhagavad Dharma, devotees have no need to fear the bondage of material existence. That fear goes away of its own accord for one who engages in devotional service. It is important to make clear that bhayam, the fear, cannot ultimately be vanquished simply by impersonal self-realization as expressed by the words of Aham Brahmasmi, I am spirit soul. In Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.12, Narad Muni says to Vyasadeva, Naishkarmyam api achyuta bhava varjitam na shobhate. Mere Naishkarmyam or cessation of material activities and repudiation of the bodily concept of life cannot ultimately save one. The living entity must find a superior shelter on the spiritual platform. Otherwise, he will come back to the fearful situation of material existence. This is stated in Shastra. Aruyya krichena parampadam tatapatanti adho nadruta yusmad angrayaha. Bhagavat 10.2.32. Although one may with great labor and effort struggle up to the Brahman platform, klesho dikarasatesham avyaktakshakta chetasam. If he does not find a suitable shelter, he will come back again to the material platform. His so-called liberation is vimuktamana, liberation only by imagination. The living entity is by nature pleasure seeking, anandamaya. Now we are suffering because we are falsely seeking pleasure on the material platform, and as a result we are becoming entangled in the painful complexities of material existence. But if we try to give up the pleasure seeking propensity altogether, we shall eventually become frustrated and return to the platform of material pleasure seeking. Although there is eternal existence on the Brahman platform of impersonal realization, there is no ananda. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. In the Vaikuntha planets, there is actual spiritual ananda. Krishna is there in his ecstatic spiritual form, surrounded by his blissful associates, all of them eternally full of bliss and knowledge. They have nothing to do with material existence. In the spiritual planets, even the scenery and the birds and animals are fully conscious of Krishna and are absorbed in transcendental bliss. Yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. Bhagavad Gita 15.6. One who goes to the blissful spiritual planet of Krishna will be fully satisfied and never come back to the material platform. Therefore, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur had said, Kim chatra bhaktai samsara bandhana na bhetavyam. Only the bhakta actually becomes free from fear. In this connection, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur has emphasized the necessity of accepting a bona fide spiritual master, who is Vrajendra Nandana Preshta, the dearmost servitor of son of Nanda Maharaj, Krishna. The bona fide spiritual master is completely free from envy of other living entities, and therefore he freely distributes knowledge of devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When the living entities who are inimical to the service of the Lord somehow hear this knowledge submissively, they become free from illusory potency of the Lord, which has covered them and thrown them into various miserable species of life. According to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, by the mercy of the spiritual master, the faithful disciple gradually realizes the transcendental position of Lord Narayan, who is served with great awe and reverence by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. As the disciple's transcendental knowledge gradually increases, even the Param Aishwarya, the supreme opulence of the Lord of Vaikuntha, becomes pale in the light of beauty of Govinda Krishna. Wow! As the disciple's transcendental knowledge gradually increases, even the Param Aishwarya, supreme opulence of the Lord of Vaikuntha, becomes pale in the light of the beauty of Govinda. Govinda has inconceivable potency to enchant and to give pleasure. By the mercy of the spiritual master, the disciple gradually develops his own blissful relationship, rasa, with Govinda. Having understood the blissful pastimes of Lakshmi Narayan, Sri Sita Ram, Rukmini Dwarkadish, and finally Lord Krishna himself, the purified living entity is given the unique privilege of participating directly in the devotional service of Krishna, who becomes his only object and shelter. Hari Bol! What is the need of giving a pravachan after this? Right from falling down from spiritual world to getting the knowledge that I am fallen down here, then to Brahman realization, to the Ananda of Vaikuntha, then the supreme pleasure and Aishwarya of Goloka Vrindavan, which makes the opulence of Vaikuntha pale. Everything from Atha to Iti is explained. Om Ajnanati Mirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Inmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupak Kada Mayam Dadati Swapadantikam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So, this is 11th canto, Srimad Bhagavatam, Ekadasha Skanda. This is such a powerful skanda that many of the Bhagavad Acharyas, they speak for 7 days only on Ekadasha Skanda. It is filled with such knowledge that it is Srimad Bhagavatam completely in itself only. Our Upadeshamrita is also written based on the discussion between King Nimi and the Navayogendras. Their question and the answer given by one Yogeshwar is all compiled in Upadeshamrita very beautifully, very beautifully. And then there are so many beautiful pastimes. Even Uddhava, the discussion with Uddhava of Lord is also there in that, which is comparable to Bhagavad Gita, but told at leisure. Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna is not told in leisure, it's told in emergency, in short period of time. But the Bhagavad Gita told to Uddhava is in elaborate, free situation, very beautifully described. So this chapter mainly is a discussion between King Nimi and the Navayogendras, the sons of Rishabdev. So this verse begins with saying that Bhayam, the discussion of Bhay is there in this. So, what is the Bhaya? What is the fear? From where it comes? Bhaya comes from Asakti. If there is no Asakti, if there is no attachment, there is no fear of losing those things which we are attached to. Who is fearless? In one sense, who doesn't have any attachment or doesn't have any possessions which can be stolen or lost. So even a sadhu may not have any single rupee, but he is attached to his body, suppose, then he is in fear of disease or death, or for a sadhu, defaming is also a fear. So all the fear arises due to the identification with the modes of material nature, the product of which is his body and the life ahead in the body. And when one dwells into these three modes of material nature, on the material platform, on the platform of body with the material senses, then whatever he comes across, he gets attached to, and then he is fearful of losing that where he is attached to. And then sometimes we have fear of getting diseased. Like in Corona times, everybody was fearful. Will I get it? Will I get it? I'm in the environment, prone or vulnerable to the situation of getting COVID. So everybody was fearful, even though they didn't have COVID. Some people didn't have COVID at all. But many of them developed hypertension and so many other anxiety elements. That's because of fear of anticipatory misery, which some people did not get at all. And some people got it and then they were much more miserable than the disease itself. The disease were mild nature, but they had such severe fear in them. So psychiatrists were in full business that time, because everybody was fearful, sitting at home also. Having nothing also they were fearful. So this fearfulness comes as per our scriptures, as per Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Sridhar Swami, Bhaktivedanta Saraswati, you name them. All of them are saying fear is because of lack of Krishna consciousness. Because of being forgetful of Krishna, because of being detached away from Krishna. The first element is fear. As soon as we give up Krishna, it is explained in the purport also that we fall down from spiritual world. As soon as we fall down, we have to accept a new uniform. There was a different uniform there. As soon as you come to a jail, you have a different uniform. Like that, you have a different uniform here. The material body, which is opposite of amara, dying, opposite of jnana, full of ignorance, and opposite of happiness, full of misery. That kind of body we get here. So soul is Satchidananda, body is exactly opposite that. So this combination is sure short misery. Exactly opposite nature. It is not palatable to each other. So till you, like we doctors, if you come with fever, I'll give you crocin. If you come with pain, I will give you this. If you come with that, I'll give this. That doesn't solve the disease. That what quacks will do. You have fever, you get crocin. You have this, you have that. You have some scratching, you get this ointment. But the real doctor will go to the root of the cause of the disease. And as soon as he treats that, the fever will go away, scratching will go away, pain will go away, everything will go away. Because we have hit the root of the disease or cause. So similarly, the cause of all the fear and suffering in the material world, the cause of birth, old age, disease and death, the cause of Trividha Tap, Adi Bhautika, Adi Daivika, Adi Atma, Adhyatmika, all this complex situation in the material world, the cause is giving up Krishna or lack of Krishna consciousness. So till you treat that on that level, the fear really doesn't go away. The cycle of birth rate also doesn't go away. So one way of self-realization is to get knowledge, jnana yoga. And truly, what happens when you develop jnana? You become detached. The natural attachment of the senses with the sense objects gradually goes on decreasing. But if the jnana, acquiring of knowledge, is not coupled up with bhakti or devotion or activities of devotional service, I mean these words, activities of devotional service, if they are not adopted, then the person becomes hard-hearted. He becomes emotionless. He becomes kind of cruel or indifferent. He loses compassion, doesn't feel bad for people who are suffering. So he feels that I am detached now, I want to get liberated. But when he goes to Brahma Jyoti as his destination which is destined for him, he feels bored there. Because only Sat potency within you is fulfilled there. The eternal existence is fulfilled there. But you just can't be. You just can't be. You need to have people around you. You need to have relationships. You need to have activities. Basically, you need to serve. The hand doesn't have its independent existence. The hand has meaningful existence only when the hand is in service to the whole body. Maybe feeding the stomach or doing something or whatever. If the hand starts living independently, the hand just dies. There is no existence. So the fulfillment of hand in itself and the pleasure of the hand lies in service from the hand to the whole body. This we have to understand clearly. You just cannot become knowledgeable, fully knowledgeable about the reality of the world. Everything you know, about the Lord you know, about the body you know, about the material existence you know, about the three modes of material world you know, everything you know in detail. You can quote slokas one after another. You are fully, thoroughly knowledgeable. But still you will remain miserable and fearful. There's a nice example. There's a parrot and the parrot is saying, the hunter will come, he will put the net, he will put the grain and you will be caught. Hunter will come, he'll put the net, he'll put the grains and you will be caught. And surely the hunter comes, puts the net, puts the grain, he goes and eats the grain and he gets caught. Now what is the use of him telling all of us and everybody, the hunter is coming, putting the net and putting the grains and you will be caught? The knowledge has no importance till you understand the knowledge. You realize the knowledge and practice accordingly. If you understood that the hunter is coming and putting the net and putting the grains to catch me, I should not go there. I should go on the tree and eat the fruits. But the bird has not understood. He is just speaking. That's why he goes and gets caught in the net of the hunter and becomes a prisoner of the hunter. So knowledge is like that. If you have all the knowledge, but still you don't have engagement for your senses to the service of the Lord, for the service of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord, then all this knowledge is useless. It is said in scriptures that mere knowledge, simply having lots of knowledge, is like a heavy metal crown on the head of a drowning person in the ocean. It only helps him to sink faster. So just becoming jnani is not our goal. All your knowledge, whenever you earn it, it has to be put into practice immediately. Knowledge not put in practice is going to ruin you, even in the name of spiritual life. Because it makes you proud. And if it doesn't help you to act accordingly, then that itself becomes a cause of your fall down on destruction. So that is why each and every line you learn, it has to be practiced. It has to be, and plus, how would we practice anything but we learn? Okay, I understood in ISKCON Juhu temple that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is standing there as Ras Vihari. But if I don't have a person who is practicing that knowledge in his life and he has set an example, till that time, I will not get inspired to do what he is doing and get the pleasure out of it. Take my example only. I came here with Dayaram Prabhu and he told me many things and I was not willing to listen. Then he brought me to temple one fine day and I was not very happy and inspired. But then he was sincerely following up with me regularly and he was himself an example of the sadhana which he was preaching to me. So when I associated with him, even negatively, but I was observing him, his example inspired me one day. And I took it up, everything what he was doing. And then I thought, why did I waste my time for such a long time arguing with him and giving him negative vibrations? I should have taken it long time back. It's simply waste of time, which I did. So, acquiring knowledge is not enough. You need to practice, and to practice you need an example. That's why we all need Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru, and we need to follow their example. We need inspiration. There are many people who just go on reading, and still you find them committing sinful activities, abominable activities, because of lack of inspiration, lack of inspiring association, lack of a spiritual mentor or a guru who always checks them and inspires them. But the most important of all these things is Rishikena, Rishikesha, Sevanam, Bhaktiruttama. Till the time our senses are not engaged in service to the master of senses, the real purification of the senses and the engagement in the relationship of Lord with the Lord doesn't develop. And till that time, the fear element, the suffering element, there are three things in the material world which we all are suffering from: Bhaya, Moha and Shoka. Srimad Bhagavatam says there are three main elements of suffering, and every other suffering is part of these three things. Bhaya, of all that you have acquired, there is a fear that I will lose them. Shoka is, I have got them and I lost them. And Moha is, I want to get them, and I think what I have got them is mine. This is Moha. And what is a devotee? Na shochati na kangshati. The devotee is not desiring anything to acquire anything. He is not in illusion. He is not hankering for something. He is not lamenting for what he has lost. He is just okay with everything because he knows, I am with Krishna, and Krishna is my master, and he is the well-wisher. He is bhokta, he is compassionate, he is my caretaker. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. He is looking after me. So I lose something, I get something, it's all temporary. He is my master, he is my shelter, he will take care of me. I am simply engaged in service to him. If this simple formula we understand, we don't have to become Pandit. We don't have to memorize 18,000 slokas of Bhagavatam, 700 slokas of Bhagavad Gita and many more verses. We need to memorize them for our purification, but that's not absolute essential. What is essential is, as per Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati, if we take up one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam out of 18,000 and just follow 1/4 of one verse in life, in practicality, then he says you will go back to Godhead, you will develop love of Godhead. And amazingly, same thing is about Bhagavad Gita also. Out of 700 slokas, oh dear Parvati, if one follows 1/4 of one verse of Bhagavad Gita in practical life, he will go back to Godhead. So what is most important is not knowledge. Yes, knowledge is the beginning, no doubt. Without knowledge, you cannot just do whatever you want. If I don't know that Rasagulla tastes very beautiful, I will not go for it. I have to know it first. Then only I will think of going and having it, and then I will understand what is the beauty of the sweetness of Rasagulla. So knowledge is, the importance of knowledge is not challenged here. But knowledge is not the destiny. Knowledge is the first step. After that knowledge, you have to act on that knowledge. If you just know fire burns, but you go on putting your hand in fire and you keep getting burnt, but still you don't understand. That knowledge of fire burns is not enough. It has to save you from burning. Similarly, Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, and I need to serve him, and I give pravachans on that, you need to serve him, but I never serve him myself. Then what happens? There is no effect in your life, and there will be no effect in the people whom you are talking to. No transformation in you, it can't cause transformation in others. You can give people what you have. Very big principle of human life. You cannot give people what you don't have. You can only give what you have. If you have one realization, that you can give to others. If you have 100 statements of knowledge, but realization of none, then you cannot give any realization to anybody. But if you are hardcore realization, and you don't have much great knowledge of scriptures, but you have one hardcore realization in spiritual life, that will change lives of hundreds. Because what is important is heart. When the heart is in realization, that affects other heart. So, the fear Really the fear cannot be eradicated till we take complete shelter of the Lord. What is that? Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishame bhavam budhav kripaya tava pada pankaja stita dhuli sadrusham vichintaya. This is the statement of realization of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Saying, oh, now I have understood that I am your servant. So what is the first understanding? I am your servant. What is that? Ai nanda tanuja kinkaram. That means, मैं तो आपका नित्य दास हूँ. O Nanda Tanu, O Lord of, O son of Nanda Maharaj, now I have understood that I am your eternal servant. And after I have understood I am your eternal servant, I come to a realization, why I am here? I have fallen into a deep, dark, miserable ocean of material world of birth and death. This knowledge will not come to you unless you realize that you are servant of the Lord. Otherwise, everybody is in the material world and they feel, how are you? They feel good, very nice. How are you doing? Fine, everything is fine. Every single time you think, I am okay, I am in the material world, I am working hard, I am educated, I have got family, I have money, I have property, I am doing good, I am progressing. But till you really come to a humility, humble understanding that I am the servant of the Lord, our miserable condition cannot be realized. It requires humility of being servant of the Lord to understand that I am suffering in the world and to accept that I am suffering in the world. Everybody is suffering in the world, but nobody accepts that I am suffering in the world. And to accept that also you need humility and the understanding of truth that I am servant of the Lord. And with that platform of understanding, I am servant of the Lord, you will come to a realization that I am suffering in the material world. This is fact. I want to enjoy. Every time I try something, I get smashed. My plans get smashed. I don't get anything. I feel I'll try again, different ways. But again and again, failure only comes. Mamupitintu kaunteya dukkhalayam ashashvatam. So much I have tried to become happy. Read Bhakti Vinod Thakur's bhajans. I have gone to many countries to achieve knowledge. I have gone to many countries to gain money. But finally, I am just crying in misery of the material world. These are the words of realization. He's tried everything. He's in a humble position, he's explaining to us. So we have tried millions of times to become happy, but if you are humble enough to understand, then we will accept that yes, I am suffering. And when you know that I am drowning in the ocean, if you accept that, like I remember when my daughter was very small, in the cold season like this, we would take her to bathroom, she would shiver. And we would ask her, are you feeling cold? She said, no. And she is shivering because she doesn't understand what I am asking. She is having a physical feeling, but she doesn't know this is feeling cold. So like that, if you ask somebody, how are you? They'll say, happy, I am happy. But they don't understand what is actually suffering. They feel this is all normal. But we need to come to the platform of understanding I am drowning, I am suffering. When you feel that you are suffering, then only you will ask for help. If I am asking you, how is your health? You feel I am fine. And I touch you, your body is 104 degree fever. So if you don't feel you are sick, will you go to doctor? You will not go to doctor. You have to have that understanding first that I am sick, I need help. And to the doctor, you have to go and humbly submit yourself. Okay, doctor, I am sick. Please take care of me. I will do whatever you want. You, doctor will say, you have 104 fever. He said, no, my fever is all right. Everything is fine. I only have cough. No, you have fever. No, only have cough. Then can doctor treat you? No. So you have to have an understanding that you are sick. Then you have to go to the doctor who can cure you. And you have to submit yourself to the doctor. You can't keep arguing. Why do you give me crocin? Why don't you give me antibiotic? Why don't you give me antihistaminic? You cannot keep discussing. People do that nowadays because a lot of Google knowledge is available and it's not on the platform of medical understanding. So people keep arguing with the doctor. In the bargain, who suffers? Not the doctor. The patient only suffers because he is not submissive enough to take the treatment of doctor. The doctor has realization of when to use what. He has experience. So he can tell you, not this one I will give you, this is good for you. And you have to have faith and submit yourself and take it. So when you submit yourself, then you understand Kripaya tava pada pankaja sthita dhuli sadrusham vichintaya. Then you understand the only safe place which is free from fear is the lotus feet of the Lord, and there is no other place in the whole material creation except the lotus feet of the Lord to be free from fear. Now we don't know the Lord only. If you're not Brahmin Dikshit, you can't even go to the altar at the feet of the Lord. And those feet we feel they are marble feet. What do I do with them? How do I get free from fear? The meaning of this statement is to serve, to take shelter of somebody, or to touch somebody's feet, or to offer obeisances. All the meaning is to serve. When you do pradakshina of Tulsi, when you do Govardhan Parikrama, when you do temple Parikrama, the idea is to serve the lotus feet of the Lord. You are serving the lotus feet of the Lord. So Kripaya tava pada pankaja means to serve. And when you don't know the Lord and don't know how to serve Him, you serve the devotees of the Lord. Or you serve the instructions of the spiritual master of ourselves. That service will engage us in service to the Lord. The spiritual master is not engaging you in his service. Apparently, externally it may be, but actually he is engaging you in service to Krishna. He wants you to get engaged in service to Krishna because he knows the service to Krishna is the only remedy to get out of fear of the material world. And to the degree you are surrendered, maybe 1%, then 1% fear will go away and 99% fear will remain with you. When you make progress of 2%, then 2% fear will go away, 98% will remain with you. When you become 50% surrendered, then 50% fear will go away and 50% will remain. When 99% you surrender, 99% become fearless and 1% fear will remain. And when you get complete surrender, sarva dharmam parityajam mamekam sharanam bhaja, no fear will touch you. There is a sadhu in Barsana who went to stay in Man Mandir. And then that time Man Mandir, Mangad was full of dacoits, uninhabited place. It's lost its all spiritual significance and only dacoits are coming and putting their gold and everything and then they live there and they go again from there. They have their weapons there. So this sadhu at the age of 12 just left home and went and stayed there on the mountain, went to stay. As soon as he came, the dacoits became alert. Why this man is coming here? This is our adda. So they said, get out from here. So he didn't say anything, he just continued. And then they used to come and count their money and gold and everything in that mountain. And he would do Radhe Radhe bhajan there. So it was disturbing. He said, because of the Radhe Radhe, people will come to get attracted and come here and we will lose our privacy in our business here. So they came with guns and swords and knives, pointed at him. He said, get out of this place, otherwise I will kill you. So what he must have said? I am amazed always when I think. He said, मरने के लिए तो आए हैं. I have come to die only here. Now what more fear you can give anybody else in the material world? For us it is said that the greatest fear is not death. For us we have told by sadhus that greatest fear is Vismruti of Krishna. Vismartavyam. To forget Krishna is the greatest fear. That's what we come to know when we become devotees. But till we don't become devotees, what is the fear? Death. The death is the ultimate fear. So much fear that nobody wants to talk about it. And when you tell somebody that I have come to die only here, what more fear you can give that person? The effect of that conviction statement. He just didn't say, while trembling, while looking here and then big eyes with sweat on the forehead. Just told very coolly with full realization, I have come to die only here. That is real fearlessness. That means this person has taken shelter of the Lord completely. The result? They quite just went away that day and finally one day they wound up everything and they went away. And then devotees started coming and having satsang. And Man Mandir came back to the original glory of Krishna's times, which has become a dilapidated and destroyed structure. It took shape and so many thousands of devotees were inspired. So, we have to understand that That kind of fearlessness, when gun is pointed at you, and they are not going to only threaten you, they can shoot you also. These dacoits have no emotions. They don't care. One fellow, unsupported, unprotected in the mountain, if he is killed, and I throw him somewhere in the ditch, who cares? Who bothers? Where is going to be police case and we are going to be arrested? It's an insignificant thing for them. But that conviction in that sadhu's mind removed all the dacoits from there, and his bhajan continued. He didn't run away from that place. Okay, I'll go to another mountain and do my bhajan. Why should I do here only? I have come to do bhajan, not to die here. But the faith is that Rakhe Krishna Mare Krishna Rakhe ke. This is one of the symptoms of surrendered soul. He knows, if Krishna wants to kill me, or I have to die by the desire of Krishna, then I cannot be saved. I have to die. And if Krishna wants to protect me, no one can kill me. And who is the example? Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was tried with so many ways by a powerful man like Hiranyakashipu, whose raised eyebrows will make the demigods tremble in the sky, in the heavenly planets. That personality was trying to kill a small child with hundreds of ways, but he just could not kill him, and he got frustrated. So, when Lord is protecting you, who can kill you? When Lord wants you to die, who can save you? There were so many boons that Hiranyakashipu had. From the topmost personality like Brahma, the first citizen of the universe, he has almost made him death-proof. Death can't touch him only. There are so many ways of death and no death. Everything was given boon to him. But still, when he was supposed to die, he died. Lord came and kept respect for all Brahma's benedictions, did not disturb them, kept it intact, and still killed him. And he still died. He thought, I am death-proof, but he died. And he thought, it's just a small child, I will kill him. But nobody could kill him. That is the power of shelter of the Lord. Taking shelter of the Lord is not something ordinary. People may feel you are a fool. This deity of marble doesn't move, doesn't talk, doesn't do anything. What are you wasting your time of valuable life into? Wasting your time in doing worship and chanting, and who knows where he has talked to you, when he has come talk to you. What has happened to you? Only you are getting good food and good place to stay and some joyful dancing you are doing. But actually what is happening in your life? For the devotee it is not like that. For the devotee, every time, every moment we come here, we feel the presence of Srila Prabhupada and Ras Bihari Lal. They are just not marble statues here. Every sincere devotee who has chanted the holy name even once in life has the realization that I am not coming to a marble statue. I am coming to meet the Supreme Lord here, my eternal Father, my loving Father. That is why the devotees who chant Hare Krishna, they just keep looking at the lotus face of Ras Bihari Ji. The heart doesn't get satisfied only. You want to stand there and keep gazing at the lotus feet eternally, and still you will not get satisfied. You want to come again next morning and you think, oh, today what I am seeing I didn't see ever in my life. Kavi Karnapur is writing in Krishna Karnamrita that one of the name of Krishna is Adrushta. What is the meaning of Adrushta? One who has never seen him before. Now we see him every day. No, what you are seeing today, you are not seeing ever before. Today what you are seeing is never seen by anybody else. And tomorrow what you see will be never seen by anybody. It's new, it's fresh. So when you have that experience, the marble doesn't remain marble. He becomes a person for you. Ye yatha mam prapadyante. The way you approach him, he will respond to you. And the way you take shelter of him, he will relieve you of all the miseries, or all the fear. And if you take full shelter from your side, he will fully relieve you of all the miseries. Nothing can touch you which is called as fear. You will not be fearful, I will get diseased, I will lose my money, I will lose my property, I will lose my health, I will lose my fame, I will lose my name. You don't worry about anything. You know I am taken shelter of my Lord. Why should I bother? Even Jesus Christ said same thing. The cup that you have given me, why shouldn't I drink it? Because I have taken shelter of you and the cup is coming from you. And whether the cup contains amruta, nectar or poison, why should I bother? It must have, you have sent it, it must be for good only for me. Why should I check it what is there in the cup? It has come from you, that is enough for me. I will just drink it. That is surrender. Mirabai was giving poison. She just drank it. If this is your desire, she didn't die. Prahlad was given poison. The poison didn't act only on him. The snakes didn't bite only to him. He was thrown off the cliff, but Lord caught him like a cushion in the hand. So many examples are there. The Lord is protecting us. So when you come to the realization of the protection of the Lord, then you become fearless. I'll give another example to you. When we were traveling and doing medical camps in the villages of Thane district, then we thought we should have a place, where we can do our work nicely. We should have a referral center. So we went to buy a flat in Mira Road. The first flat when we went to buy, all doctors, young boys, we went, and with the owner we were making agreement and decision. So we did that, made the deal, and then the owner came out of the flat to the gate of the building, society, to see us off. When he came out of the building and we also came out with him, his puppy also came out with him. Listen carefully. His puppy also came out with him, and we were now almost on the road, out of the gate, and we were going to go away, and the puppy and the master was there, and 3 big dogs came. They started barking at this puppy. Puppy was little away. So as soon as he saw 3 big dogs are barking at me, he just went in between the feet of his master and started barking at the 3 big dogs. What did he do first? He didn't start barking at them from where he was. He came in between the 2 feet of his master, took his stance and started barking with full-fledged power and courage and confidence. And these 3 big dogs went away. Why? They were not fearful of this puppy, but they got fearful of the master, which shelter he has taken. So when we get fearful, when we take shelter of the master, who is all powerful, then confidence comes. Nothing can harm me, nothing can touch me. So the essence of this shloka is that mere knowledge is not enough. It has to be practiced. And most important practice of the knowledge is in the form of service to the Lord and His devotees. When that happens, there is a relationship that develops. Then there is shelter that develops. And then one gets free from fear. And Srimad Bhagavatam has that power. Each and every shloka, if you put into practice in your life, Srimad Bhagavatam verse practiced will free you from shoka, moha and bhaya. And that is a perfect devotional stage of life. When you practice Krishna consciousness and you are free from shoka, free from bhaya and free from moha, you already attained Krishna, already attained bhakti. And that's what we want to achieve. Hare Krishna. I'm sorry, I couldn't do justice to all purport because such a big purport, many important points are dealt with. I took up some and discussed. So if there are any questions, you have some time. Anybody has any questions, you can take the microphone.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Where are you? Haribol Prabhuji, yes.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. It was very relevant class.
Thank you.
I felt. What is that humility what is the understanding of that humility which can make me understand my disease position?
So the first thing is to study the scriptures. First thing is to study the scriptures. If you don't understand anything, ask some learned people, discuss with them. When you sincerely study the scriptures with a desire to know, I study every day, fine. But when exam comes, I study in a different way, right? So like that, eagerness, earnestness has to be there. When you want to understand how to get cured of my disease, that time when you are deceased, you will go to doctor runningly, find out who the doctor is. So there has to be some eagerness, some desperateness in the study. When I study about COVID now, I'm not that interested in studying. But when COVID was going on, everything was like, I need to know because I can't be affected by COVID. So that some desperate condition has to be there. With that, when you study, you will come to know within the heart that I am nothing. I am simply an insignificant part of Krishna and I need to surrender. That is a subjective feeling. It cannot be mechanically adopted. It has to come from within. And it will come to you from within when you associate with people who have that knowledge, who have realized that yes, I am insignificant. And without that humility, you cannot get further realization. Humility is a platform of lot of realizations. And lot of knowledge with pride is a absolutely unfavorable platform for realization. And how do we get further humility? Is by service only. When we serve, then we get blessings, and by the blessings we realize that we are nothing.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hari Bol.
So another question, Prabhuji. This Bhaya, Moha, Shoka, Bhaya, that disturbs us, and Shoka also disturbs us. How to understand this Moha also?
Moha is more dangerous than Bhaya and Shoka also. Because Bhaya is gross, Shoka is gross. Moha is so subtle that you feel you are fine, everything is nice. I am this body, these are my bodily extensions, this is my wealth, this is my property, and I am enjoying here. What is less? I have got everything. But that illusory situation is more damaging to the soul and for the future of the soul. Moha means that which is not, na? What is Maya? That which is not. You think and you start adopting the thought process which is not truth. It's very dangerous for the progress of the soul. So, you want a point?
How to understand this Moha is very dangerous for us. Bhaya, Shoka.
Keep listening to Srimad Bhagavatam every day without fail. That is one way, and you have your own study plan of scriptures. What books are purported by Prabhupada? Please read them. Because mere reading the scripture as it is, without the purport given by a pure devotee, also is bewildering, also is confusing. So read all those books which are purported by Prabhupada, where there are so many explanations from other scriptures are given to make the point. My experience is, it has become very easy for me to understand everything, because it's so simple. I am not doing anything, somebody has done all the effort and put everything in one place and I am reading everything ready-made. I don't want to go to the jackfruit tree and bring the jackfruit and cut the tree, cut the fruit and make my hands black. Everything is done and the ready-made jackfruit without the seed is on my plate with honey on the top. I just eat it, that's it. Prabhupada books are like that. And when you read them, you will come to know from within what you need to know about yourself and the Lord. Guaranteed. You try, make an experiment. I have made the experiment in this place only. It is a successful experiment. I am not talking about yesterday or 1 year back. I am talking about 40 years back. That experiment was done. And today also it is applicable and truthful. With more and more conviction than that time. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
We cannot imagine what Srila Prabhupada has given us. By the way, I want to share one line to you, that this place, each and every atom is vibrant with the presence of Srila Prabhupada. This is my every time experience when I come. Because my memories of when I was here coming regularly in my student time, and when I come now, sometimes the only overwhelming feeling is Prabhupada's presence over here. Not only here, everywhere, in the whole complex. Yes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for the class. It was full of realizations. So, initially you discussed about the Jnana Yogis. So, that try to merge into the Brahma Jyoti, considering that they are going to lose their individuality, but they don't lose their individuality and become frustrated and again come back to the material world. So then their knowledge is itself mistaken, and so
knowledge not practiced properly.
but they are considered.
Knowledge is not bad. They believe that they are miserable. That's why they study scriptures. And that relieves them because they get detached. But no engagement in service to the Lord. Rishikena Rishikesh Sevanam Uchyate, that is not there.
But they don't lose their individuality, no, which they were
They
considering.
lose for some time. Because when they go to Brahma Jyoti, only Sat potency is realized there. Chit Ananda is not realized there. So they lose their identity for some time, but the real identity is not satisfied. So they again take body in the material world. They fall down. Upanishads mention that.
Means
Again they try to see what one point is mentioned in this purport very beautifully. When you give up activities altogether, then what happens? Then you feel misery is not there. But misery is not there, where Ananda is. You give up material activities and in the place of that you engage in spiritual activities. Then what will happen? Miseries will go away and happiness also will come, which you need. But if you just simply say neti, 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 nothing is to be done, then you may be free from miseries. But happiness that you need is not available. You don't eat dirt, so you give up dirt. But you need to eat gulab jamun, na? You need to eat rice and dal also. So simply by giving up dirt, you don't become healthy. You need to eat normal food. I'll give an example to you. Just it reminded me. I was called to speak. There was a World Week of Meditation. And in Delhi, I was called in that world conference to speak. So there were many great souls, famous in India, all following Brahmavad and whatever other things, Vedanta and everything. And everybody gave very complicated technical aspects of Vedanta and meditation and everything. And then my number came, I was called, and I simply spoke on Pranadapi Sunichena Tararopi Saishna, Amanina Manadina Kirtaniya Sadahari. And I told the greatest meditation is to chant the holy name and meditate on the sound of the holy name, what you are uttering. You have to listen and meditate on that. So you know something, very surprisingly, there were people who were 80, 90-year-old, great sadhus, famous, who had done tapasya for 50, 60 years in their life. I am like a baby in front of them. But the audience gave feedback to the organizer who invited me. He said that we hear so much of Vedanta, but when difficult time comes, what is the use of Vedanta? What is the practical solution to that? So we like that person's speech because he was giving practical solution to get out of the miserable situation of life. These are all established Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. This was their reaction. So, knowledge. Finally, how does it help you? One time Radhanath Swami was traveling from Himalaya down with a yogi. And the yogi spent some time with him in the Himalayas teaching him yoga, Radhanath Swami. And then they decided to come down to Rishikesh. So they were driving. And when you are driving downhill, suddenly the brakes failed. This is a true story. When the brakes failed, then Radhanath Swami asked him, which yoga and which pranayam will help you now? Which you taught me upstairs. Chant Hare Krishna, that will help you. Even if you die due to the brake failed car, you will go back to Godhead. So finally, what is important? That knowledge, that temporary relief of disease and miseries of body and family and tantra and mantra and jadoo and tona. How does it help? Finally, the soul needs to be saved from the entanglement. And for that only holy name is there, which they also believe, but they don't give so much importance to that. They only believe in meditation and Vedanta knowledge. So what we need to know is that knowledge is important as long as it helps your soul to get out. Otherwise, knowledge itself has no meaning. So Prabhupada is giving us Vijnana, realized knowledge, like that jackfruit without seed with honey he is giving you. That we should take. But we go to a tree and start hitting the kuladi at the bark and at the branches and the leaves. What we need is that essence of the tree. And that is the sadhu giving us, pure devotee. Okay? Hare Krishna. Anybody else? Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. My deep gratitude for having me here. My great privilege and fortune to be here with you. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.